Hi there, I'm Square, and let's talk about anime. So today we're going to talk about episode 2 of Yashahime. In this episode, we start out with the twins, Towa and Setsuna, around the age of 4 in the forest alone, but seemingly well, taking care of themselves. At one point, there is a big fire and the two are separated. A rainbow corridor opens up during the fire and Towa seems to be dragged into the future. Towa appears in front of the sacred tree on the Higurashi property and is found by Sota, who's obviously much older than the last time we saw him. We then jump ahead about 10 years. At this point, Towa is now 14 years old. She doesn't seem to really remember her past, except she does remember hints of her sister. Towa gets in fights a lot. This causes her to have to switch schools, and she's starting a new school as we see her at the beginning of this time jump. With all these fights, this causes a gang to go after her family, kidnapping them. But she doesn't hold back this fight and unleashes her half-demon powers, completely demolishing them and scaring them off. While this is going on, there's another story happening in the past. Here we have Moroha, who seems to be chasing a bounty, but she gets confronted by Hisue, Kohaku, and Setsuna. They accuse her of attacking the nearby village. She claims she didn't, she's chasing a bounty. But all of this is interrupted by a centipede demon, Mistress Three Eyes. She attacks everyone and ends up taking 2 pearls. 1 pearl from Moroha's makeup and 1 from Setsuna's eye, consuming both and amplifying her powers. Then the rainbow corridor opens and they're both pulled through into the present, landing in front of Towa and her family. Towa jumps into the fray, attacking Mistress Three Eyes, and we end the episode with all of them about to face off and many questions in the air. Wow. So a lot has happened in this episode, and a lot of questions from the previous episode are answered, but a lot more questions have arisen. We know a little bit about the girl's past, but the little that is revealed, it just leaves so much more missing. Now, when we do see Setsuna and Towa in the beginning, they're 4 years old and in a forest all alone, but they seem fine. They're wearing clean clothes. They don't seem unfed or hurt or worried or scared or anything. They seem completely comfortable where they are. It makes you wonder what's going on. Are they being taken care of from afar? Or are they just, because they're half demon, are they okay just being on their own? They're half demon. They should have a human mother. Where's the human mother? Wouldn't she be taking care of them? Now, Sesshomaru isn't the most attentive. He was fine with leaving Rin alone with Jacken, but he'd check up on her every so often and make sure she was taken care of. He'd definitely protect her. He pretty much sacrificed himself for her. So maybe he's taking care of his daughters from afar as well? It's unclear, and they don't mention their father at all. It's interesting, though, to see their dynamics as children. When they're young, Towa seems to be the more dominant twin, while Setsuna seems to rely on her a lot. Now, this is something that does happen with twins sometimes. Sometimes a stronger personality or a more caretaker role pops up, and one of the twins kind of speaks for or cares for the other one. And it's really interesting to see that develop when they're young, when they're 4 years old. And it also makes it kind of tragic to see how Setsuna turned out later. We do see more of Setsuna in this episode. You know, she gets a lot of dialogue. We see her fight. We see her interact with Kohaku, with Moroha, with Hisue. And she seems rather cold, controlled maybe, serious, and not nearly that sensitive child she was when she was 4. But I suppose this makes sense. If you're separated from your closest family, a twin, ripped away at a young age after your twin seemed to almost leave you behind. I mean, they were young. I don't blame Toa for freaking out and letting go of her sister's hand for a moment as they were running from a forest fire. But that's the last interaction she had with her sister before her sister was gone. I can't imagine how that would affect her. But at the same time, it also seems like Setsuna doesn't even remember Toa. Now, what we see of Toa's character is rather interesting. I'm finding her a lot more intriguing as time is going on. A lot more of her is shown rather than told. We see little hints of her personality in her room. There's a lot of trophies. They seem to be perhaps like kendo trophies, some type of fighting trophies. Lots of athletic equipment. She states that she gets in a lot of fights. She also chooses to wear male clothing because it's easier to move around in and fight in. She seems to just kind of also reject typical gender roles, even outwardly with her sister when her sister kind of confronts her later after they're captured by that gang. It's an interesting take, and it makes me very curious to see where they go with this character. And then when we flip to the past, while this seems to be happening kind of at the same time, something that happens a lot in time travel stories, Moroha seems to be alone. She's out, she's doing bounties and stuff, and seems fully capable, just kind of hanging out in the forest, waiting for a giant demon to come up that she's going to take on. Seems pretty comfortable doing this, like she's done it many times before, which again leaves a question of her parents. Well, she's a quarter demon, her father Inuyasha's half demon, Kagome is full human, and she does come across pretty powerful, but she's 14. That seems a little young to be off on your own. And again, parents are not mentioned here. And what's really curious is the fact that Kohaku and Hisue come across her but don't seem to know who she is. Now, this is surprising because Kohaku should know who Kagome and Inuyasha are. And Hisue is the child of Sango and Moroku. They definitely know who Inuyasha and Kagome are. They're some of their greatest friends. They've fought life and death together. So why would their child not know their friend's daughter? At the same time, Sango and Miruku aren't mentioned at all. One thing we do hear is Lady Kaede, who is still alive. They've referenced that she's the village elder. That implies that they're still in the village that we saw in the last episode where everyone seemed to be living in. Kaede, is like the village elder priestess woman. She's taking care of Rin, but where is everybody? What's going on? And then, we're talking about this time skip. I've been looking into the subreddits and communities around this show because that's what you do when you're into a show, right? And a lot of the questions seem to be around ages. And I found this really interesting forum post by the user HeartShiningXX with the help of translations by Twitter user at MiggyXMarie. Now, I asked their permission to share it here with you, and I have it linked in the description as well so you can read over it. But they made a fantastic breakdown of the character ages within the series, taking into account the ages at the beginning of Inuyasha, all of the different time skips, and guesses of where we are now. Now, apparently, there were hints of the year it currently is in the present in Yashahime. It seems like the episode is taking place in the Reiwa era, which started in 2019. Currently, we're in 2019 or 2020, something like that. And the timeline does take this into account. This would mean Kagome would be 38, 39 now, somewhere around that. That's a little hard to wrap my brain around, to be honest. So taking account this time skip, Kaede was around 60-ish in Inuyasha. And since we've jumped 20 years from the ending of Inuyasha to Yashahime now, that would put her somewhere in the 80s. So it's not far-fetched that she'd still be alive. This also puts into perspective Sota adopting Toa. He was, 21 or 22 when he found this 4-year-old girl? And then he just took her in? That's impressive. That's commendable. That shows a lot about his character. Now, going back to Moroha, I'm still completely in love with her character. She's so fun and lively. I love the way she speaks, plays with her bounty hunter job. She's sitting there kind of like imagining things. She gave herself like a nickname, calling herself Beniyasha. It's so cute. Now, I looked up the possible kanji, and it seems like most likely Beniyasha refers to dark red or crimson, which makes sense for her character. And I guess she's calling herself a crimson demon, which is definitely a name that teenage me would think was just hella rad. She's so cute. I love her. Now, she hints at her makeup transforming her, but we haven't seen it in use yet. Now, when we do see I guess it's rouge, some type of makeup. I don't know much about makeup. I'm sorry. It seems she embedded her red pearl in it, perhaps imbuing it with power. I guess we'll have to see. The pearls themselves are pretty mysterious. So far, we have the red with Moroha, silver with Toa, and gold with Setsuna. Toa and Setsuna seem to have both in their eyes, but we don't know where Moroha's originated. She just had it already in her makeup. And the pearls themselves seem to give off power that other demons can sense and demons can pull from. Seems like not nearly as much as a Shikon jewel, although the demon, the Mistress Three Eyes, treated it in the same way that we saw Mr. Centipede in the first episode of Inuyasha, just licking it up with her tongue and eating it. Now, she didn't transform that much with just one pearl, but with two, she seemed to be almost at the level of Mistress Centipede, at least in appearance, in the original Inuyasha. So really curious here where this is going to end up. Speaking more about the pearls, I'm concerned. I'm a little worried. I can't help but remember the story of how Inuyasha originally got the Tetsaiga. This is also the first time we see Inuyasha battle his brother Sesshomaru. Now, if you recall, Sesshomaru was looking for Inuyasha because he was looking for their father's treasure. You know, they're only half brothers. Sesshomaru is a full demon, Inuyasha's half demon, but they share a father. Now, there's a lot of hints and like sneaky clues about where this treasure is, but it's revealed in the episode that the treasure is inside their father's grave. Their father's grave is hidden inside the Black Pearl. And the Black Pearl is hidden inside Inuyasha's eye. I don't think it's a stretch to see the connection here. And this is what worries me a bit. I mean, it scares me for the characters. The Black Pearl is Inuyasha's father's grave, hidden in his eye. Now we have Moroha with a pearl, Toa and Setsuna also with pearls and also in their eyes. Plus, we've yet to see any of the parents in this current timeline. Kagome, Inuyasha, Sesshomaru's baby mama have not only not shown up, but haven't been mentioned. And also seems like they aren't even remembered. And the fact that all three princesses are seeming to be on their own without their parents throughout the entire episode. I mean, not that you don't count, Sota. I mean, you're a great adoptive father. Forgive me. So this leaves us with a lot of questions going into the next episode. Now, the episode preview did hint at lost memories. And again, that leaves a lot of thoughts. Are these characters simply forgotten, or is there something more happening here? Well, I don't know about you all, but I can't wait to find out. I am really enjoying this series so far, and I can't remember the last time that an anime left me on the edge of my seat like this. So I would love if you would join me next time. I'm definitely going to continue going over these episodes. I love just being able to sit down and analyze this stuff and being able to explore the community a bit. If anyone has any topics they want me to talk about or anything that they've noticed, I'd love to talk on stuff like that. So I would love if you would join me again. If you would subscribe, comment, any of that helps. You can tell I'm a pretty new channel, but I've already gotten some support from the community, and that means a lot to me. I'm very much enjoying doing this. So your support really helps me just want to move forward and continue. But honestly, I might just do this sitting alone in a room talking to a mic by myself. Please join me again if you like what you hear here and have an artsy day.